Have you ever felt like the world is moving without you? Do you ever feel like life is passing you by, leaving you in solitude? You try to connect, but relationships drift, and the silence grows louder. It may feel like Allah is pulling you away from everything and everyone, but why? My dear brothers and sisters, this isolation is not a punishment, it's a divine preparation. Allah chooses to refine, protect, and guide certain people for something far greater. Today, we will explore 7 profound reasons why Allah isolates the chosen ones. Reasons filled with wisdom that many fail to see. But before we begin, reflect on this. What if the loneliness you're feeling is actually Allah's way of calling you closer to Him, away from the distractions of the world? Let's find out why Allah isolates you, and how this could be the greatest blessing of your life. 1. Isolation to protect your heart. Have you ever noticed how easily your heart gets distracted when surrounded by people? The endless conversations, worldly comparisons, and even negative influences can cloud your soul. Allah sometimes removes you from certain environments, not to punish you, but to protect your heart. Think of a rare gem. Its brilliance is preserved by shielding it from anything that could scratch or dull it. That's your heart. Allah knows its worth and safeguards it from anything that might harm its purity. Imagine being around friends or colleagues who subtly mock your faith or tempt you to compromise. Little by little, your connection with Allah weakens. But then, suddenly, those people drift away. It feels painful, yet in hindsight, wasn't Allah saving you from a path that could have distanced you from Him? This distance is His mercy, an opportunity to realign your heart with Him. As the Quran says, "So do not weaken and do not grieve, and you will be superior if you are true believers." Quran 3:139-2. Isolation to refine your character. Have you ever felt like, when you start working on yourself, the world around you seems to fade? That's because Allah removes distractions, so you can focus on your growth. When surrounded by constant noise, opinions, meaningless chatter, or even toxic relationships, it becomes hard to hear your own thoughts, let alone connect deeply with Allah. Solitude forces you to confront yourself, to see habits you've ignored and weaknesses you've hidden. Even Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, withdrew to the cave of Hira before receiving revelation. Those moments of solitude were not just about physical isolation. They were spiritual preparation. In the same way, your isolation could be Allah's way of shaping you for something greater. The discomfort may feel heavy, but it's temporary. The clarity, wisdom, and self-awareness you gain from it will last a lifetime. 3. Isolation strengthens your relationship with Allah. Have you ever felt like no one truly understands you? Even when you try to explain your struggles, the responses don't resonate. This feeling isn't random. It's a divine invitation. When Allah isolates you, it's His way of drawing you closer to Him. In times of ease, we rely on people, friends, family, material comforts. But in solitude, when those crutches are gone, we realize that the only one who has been there all along is Allah. Think about it. How many times have you turned to Him with your whole heart only when you had no one else? Isolation forces this deep reliance on Him. And just like Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, faced moments of profound loneliness before uniting the Ummah, your solitude is not about separation, it's preparation. When you return to the world, you'll do so with a stronger purpose and a deeper connection to Allah. 4. Isolation is a training ground. Ever noticed that before a major change in your life, certain people or things are removed? Maybe a friendship you valued ended, or a long-standing support system disappeared. It feels like rejection, but in reality, it's refinement. Allah removes distractions to sharpen your focus. Look at Prophet Joseph, peace be upon him. Thrown into a well, abandoned, and imprisoned, his isolation wasn't a curse, it was preparation. By the time he emerged, he was not just a man, but a leader of extraordinary wisdom and faith. What if the challenges you're facing now are shaping you into the person you're meant to be? The hardest trials create the strongest people. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and the finest swords are forged in fire. Your struggles in solitude are the very tools Allah is using to refine you into something extraordinary. 5. Allah's plan requires patience. Does it ever feel like your life is at a standstill while others move forward? Frustrating, right? But remember, Allah's delay is not His denial. Sometimes, He places you in isolation because He's preparing something greater for you. Think of it as a cocoon. A caterpillar must endure stillness before transforming into a butterfly. Likewise, your isolation is part of your transformation. Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, spent years away from Egypt, seemingly lost, only to return as a leader chosen by Allah. What if the waiting period in your life is where Allah is working on you the most? Trust His timing. It's never wrong. 6. Isolation refines your intentions. When you're surrounded by people, it's easy to seek validation from them, even unconsciously. But in isolation, Allah gives you the chance to ask, who am I doing this for? Is it for people or for Allah alone? Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, was isolated from his people for standing firm in his faith. His solitude wasn't a punishment. It was a purification of his intentions. And isn't it the same with us? How often do we let others' opinions dictate our self-worth? In isolation, Allah purifies our hearts, so that we act for His sake, not for applause. 7. Isolation prepares why? 7. Isolation prepares you for your unique role. When Allah isolates you, it's for a purpose. Every great leader, thinker, and reformer has faced solitude before stepping into their calling. Prophet Yusuf was alone before he became a ruler. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was alone before he changed the world. And you? Maybe you're being prepared for something only you can do. Do you ever feel like your path is different from everyone else's? Like no one understands your journey? That's because your mission is unique. Allah isn't isolating you to break you. He's strengthening you to fulfill a role that only you can. When you emerge, you won't just be stronger, you'll be ready to make a difference. Final thoughts, my dear brothers and sisters. Isolation is not a punishment, it's preparation. It's Allah's way of refining you, elevating you, and bringing you closer to Him. Every tear, every moment of loneliness, and every silent prayer, it's all part of a divine plan shaping you into who you're meant to be. If this message has touched your heart, reflect on it in the comments. Perhaps just writing, "Ya Allah, help me find strength in my solitude," will inspire not only you but others walking the same path. And before you leave, consider watching the next suggested video. It could be the next step in your journey toward understanding Allah's wisdom in your life. May Allah guide us all, strengthen our faith, and make our trials a means of drawing closer to Him. Ameen. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.